Welcome everyone to our free GRE Quant webinar. Whether you're here for the first time or have been to one of our webinars before, thanks for joining us. My name is Andrew and I'm one of the student success advisors here at Ready4. I consult with students, connecting them with courses that best suit their needs, and I'm happy to be able to host today's webinar and give you all a chance to meet one of our talented instructors. So let's get started. A couple of things to know before we begin. First of all, you're all muted. So depending on where you are, anything you say out loud might look crazy to those around you, but it won't get our attention. Instead, take a minute to find the question box. This is going to be an important tool for you today. Any questions you have about the content of today's lesson, the GRE in general, or about our courses, you can type them right into that question box and we'll either respond to you directly or during our Q&A session at the end. Also, when it's time to cast your vote, as we're doing in-class examples, you're going to type your answer into the box as well. We'll be sharing these slides, answer explanations, and a handout exploring our services at the end, so don't forget to download those as well. Finally, this session is being recorded, so be on the lookout for a follow-up email after class if you'd like to view the recording or the handouts, especially if you're tuning in from a mobile device. Here's what we're going to cover today. I'll start by telling you a little bit about what we do here at Ready4. Then I'll pass things off so you can see one of our experts in action. While these webinars aren't going to teach you everything you need to know for the exam, they provide a solid intro to the test and a chance to meet our instructors and get an idea of what our courses are like. I promise that whatever stage you are on your GRE prep, you're going to take away some strategies that you can apply and continue to improve on throughout the rest of your practice. If you enjoy the session, stay to the end and I'll jump back on and provide some more information about our courses. We even have a special surprise to say thanks for being here. That's going to be at the very end of the session. A little about us. Ready4 was started out of MIT back in 2013, and our goal ever since has been to make test prep more affordable and more accessible to students. That's why we offer a number of different prep options based on your needs and your budget as you prepare for the exam, ranging from our top-ranked practice tools designed to measure and adapt to your performance so they're better than any book, to our fully immersive prep courses, whether on demand or live, with the best instructors in the industry. We're providing a flexible, mobile-led learning experience to fit the needs of any student, regardless of your location or your background. But I'll talk more about our services at the end. I want to introduce our instructors so we can begin the lesson. Today's session will be led by Eric. Eric holds degrees from Yale, Harvard, and MIT Sloan. He's incredibly engaging, which you're going to see today, but also he takes the success of his students very seriously. He's as much a cheerleader and a mentor as he is an instructor. Like all of our instructors here at Ready4, Eric scored in the 99th percentile on the GRE and has taught over 1,000 students in the past 8+ years. You're going to learn that he really loves this stuff. Now I'll pass things over to Eric, but remember, if there's anything I can help with or any questions you have, I'm right at the other end of that question box. Good luck, everybody.
Let's talk about the GRE. The GRE is a little bit longer, 3 hours and 45 minutes. You can take it any day except for Sundays and holidays. The analytical writing section is first. You have 2 essays to write. They are extremely similar. You should not spend very much time thinking about the essays. We will teach you exactly how to write both essays in the Ready4 GRE class. Okay. All right. You get analyze an issue and analyze an argument. Again, the essays are on a different score, are on a different schedule. You have a score of 0 to 6 for your analytical writing. The 2 sections you should spend the most time on are verbal and quant. Those are the 2 areas you should spend most of your studying focusing on those 2 areas. Okay, those 2 areas will combine to give you a score of 130 to you get 130 to 170 on verbal, you get 130 to 170 on quant, and then your total score is between 260 and 340. In general, for the top schools, you need 160 and up on both sections. Okay, if you are scoring below 160 on either verbal or quant, you need some assistance. You need to boost your score. Okay, just a little bit about the score distribution. So basically, this is a normal distribution. The goal of the test is not to help you get the questions right. The goal of the test is to make you miss, and to make you miss just enough so that you are in this middle zone right here. They are trying to get you to be in this zone. That's where most people fall. Okay, if you are between, you know, the 158 and 142, then you're in this middle zone. Okay, you do not want to be in the middle zone. That middle zone does not get to go to the best grad schools. You need to be above 160 on both math and verbal. Okay, this is a computer adaptive test. What does that mean? That means your test is not going to be like anybody else's test. Your questions will depend on how well you did on the previous questions. So if you get the previous question correct, you're going to get a harder question. If you get the previous question wrong, you're going to get a slightly easier question. And that will, your test will adapt after every single question. There's only one rule about computer adaptive test. Do not think about how hard the question is as you're taking it. The only thing you can do is take the question in front of you. You cannot go backwards. You cannot, it doesn't do you any good to wonder how well you did on previous questions. So, so focus on the question in front of you and move forward, as we are trying to do on this slide. Here we go. Okay, 3 critical strategies that you won't learn other places. Number 1, leave time at the end of the section. You have to finish every question. You have to answer every question. Okay, if you don't answer every question, the GRE will consider your answer wrong, and that's just, it's just foolish to leave points on the table like that. Number 2, as I said before, ignore the apparent difficulty. Does you no good to think about how hard the question is while you're taking it. And number 3, practice with the right tools and content. Do not try to just wing it. Don't show up without having done some practice, and don't walk into the test without having trained with a system that familiarizes you with every kind of GRE question. Okay? Any questions so far about what the GRE is? It is not the GMAT, as you've established. Okay. All right, so we're going to move on here. An insider look at GRE arithmetic. Okay. So let's do a little bit of decimals and digits, some order of operations, some exponents and roots. Okay. So first things first, decimals and digits. The most important place value that you're going to encounter on the GRE is the ones digit, the units digit. Okay, the units digit is the digit directly to the left of the decimal. Okay, that's what you really need to know. You also have to know where the tens digit is, where the hundreds digit is, where the thousands digit is, and then it certainly helps if you also know the tenths digit, the hundredths digit, and the thousandths digit. Okay, so but they're going to ask you a lot about this digit, the digit directly to the left of the decimal. Okay, for rounding, what's the best way to round? Well, you have to look at the digit they ask you about and then look directly to the right. If the digit directly to the right of the digit they ask you about is 4 or lower, you round down. If the digit is 5 or higher, you round up. So 9,365.47 to the nearest units digit, well, you look at the units digit. What's the units digit? Go ahead and type in what you think the units digit is. You're all, there we go. So thank you guys. Okay, so the units digit is 5. And what's the digit directly to the right of the units digit? It's 4. Thank you. Thank you guys. All right. So since 4 is 4 or lower, you round this down. So it becomes 9,365. So that's called rounding down, because this number is a little bit higher than 9,365, but you round it down because that digit is a 4. Okay, now let's try another one. Go ahead and round that to the nearest 10th digit. Go ahead and type in what 7,422.751 is to the nearest 10th digit. All right, we have one correct answer. There are 15 of you, so would like a little bit more. We have one incorrect answer. We have 2 incorrect answers. Only one person has gotten it right so far. So what is, okay, one more. There we go. The number is 7,422.751. And almost everybody is missing it. So good, you'll benefit a lot from Ready For. But if you got the 10th digit is, 10th digit is 7, okay? 7,422.751. That's the 10th digit. What's the digit directly to the right of that? What is the digit directly to the right of the 7? It's 5. Is 5 or greater? Yep. So you round up. You round up. So it goes 7,422.8. Okay. If you missed that, you really need some help studying. 7,422.8. Okay, that's the answer. Okay. All right. Let's do some more. Okay, now try this one. So it's asking you to round to the nearest thousandth. So look for this thousandth. Okay, it goes tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and then look for the digit directly to the right of that. I'm going to go away for a minute. I'll let you have 1 minute on your own, and then I'll come back and then ask you your favorite answer. Okay, so I'll go away for just about 40 seconds. Go. Okay, everybody, we have 4 answers. 3 of them are correct. So anyone else want to weigh in on what you think the correct answer is? 4, 5, 6. 6 of you have answers. Okay. All right, most of you got it. So how do you round this to the nearest thousandth? Well, 0.00465 becomes 0.00, you round up, 5. Okay, so when you subtract the bottom from the top, What's 465 minus 500? Well, it's going to end with 35, and it's going to be negative, and B is the only one that does that. Okay, so that is how you get B. Any questions on that? All right, let's keep moving. Okay, this one is a fun one, and I would like you to try it, and then I will explain it in a couple ways. So go ahead and try this one out. Your job is to determine which column is greater, or if they are both equal, or if you can't determine. So go ahead and try it out. I'll be back in 1 minute. Go. Okay, all right. Well, looks like a lot of you are getting this one right as well. So congratulations to everyone who chose B, including some of you who chose A and then B. I like that. That's totally fine as long as you, on the test, get it right before you click next and confirm. So B is greater. There are a couple ways to figure it out. The easiest way is to use a calculator, which you will have, and see that all of the digits after the first digit to the right of the decimal are greater than 1. The second way, which I like, which one of my former students taught me, is you say, well, I don't know what 1/22 is, but I do know that 1/11 is 0.090909, repeating. Okay, and then you say, oh, well, 1/22 is just all that divided by 2. So if you divide all this by 2, you're going to get 0.045454545, because you're getting 0.0 and then dividing 90, 90, 90, 90. So every digit after this first digit to the right of the decimal is greater than 1, so quantity B is greater than 1. Okay, so 2 ways to do it. Calculator is fine, but if you want to do it without a calculator, you certainly can. Any questions on that? I want to say one thing about the GRE and math. A lot of people think that this is a math test in the way that when you were younger, you were in math class and then you took a math test on arithmetic or algebra or geometry. This is not a math test. This test tests math, but that's not the point. The point of the test is that it is a timed test under extremely stressful conditions. So if you are taking these questions with unlimited time in a very comfortable place, you're not studying correctly. because you're not studying for this test. This test stresses you out, asks you things you've never seen before, asks you weird kinds of math, because it's trying to get you to miss. It's not trying to help you towards the right answer. So if you think you can just review your arithmetic, review your old books, kind of get it together, get a few problems under your belt and study for a few hours before the test, you're going to do about average. You're going to hit the middle of that normal distribution, and you're not going to get into the best schools. The people who get the best scores on these tests prepare rigorously, and they prepare with someone who's gotten 99th percentile or above, ideally more than once, because it's not about the math. It's about the process. It's about the stress. Okay, we will teach you not just to do the math. We will teach you to take the test. It's not a math test. It's a timed test. It's a test of poise. It's a test of stamina. It's a test of little tricks that you need to learn from someone who's been there before. Okay, that's what we offer. That's what Ready For does. Okay, so let's learn a little bit about order of operations, some more of the simple fundamentals that you absolutely have to know. This is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or PEMDAS. The order of operations goes parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, and addition and subtraction. So on the example on the right, the first thing you would do is what's in the parentheses, 1 plus 5. So now you have 2 times 6 squared divided by 12 plus 9 minus 8. And then you would do the exponents. So now you have 2 times 36 divided by 12 plus 9 minus 8. And then you would do multiplication division. It doesn't matter how you do 2 times 36 divided by 12. You can do 2 times 36 and then divide by 12. You can divide 36 by 12 and then multiply it by 2. You can divide 2 by 12 and then multiply it by 36. Multiplication and division go together as long as you do all the multiplication and division before you do any addition and subtraction. So I'm going to divide 36 by 12 to get 3. There we go. And then 2 times 3 is 6. So now I have 6 plus 9 minus 8. Same thing with addition and subtraction. You can do these 6 plus 9 minus 8. You can do 6 plus 9 minus 8. I think that's going to be the easiest. So 6 plus 1 is going to be 7, and 7 is the answer. Okay? Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Okay? These are fundamental skills. These are not the advanced strategies yet. Let's talk a little bit more about these fundamentals. Let's talk about the exponents and roots. When you have an even exponent, when you're squaring something or raising something to the 4th power, you are always going to get a positive number. When you are raising something to the 3rd power or the 5th power, you're going to get the same sign as x. So if you had 2 squared, it'll be 4. If you have negative 2 squared, it'll also be 4. If you have 2 cubed, it'll be 8. If you have negative 2 cubed, it'll be negative 8. Okay, same thing with fractions. 1/16, negative 1/2 is also 1/16. 1/2 here is 1/32, and negative 1/2 is negative 1/32. Okay, so if it's raised to the odd power, it's the same sign as the original number inside the parentheses. Okay, there are 8 exponent rules. We will teach you all of them in the Ready For course. Once you know all 8 exponent rules, there's nothing else. If you know 8 exponent rules like the back of your hand, you're going to be great on the GRE. Okay, these are 4 of them. When multiplying 2 terms with the same base, add the exponents and keep the base. So for instance, if you had 2 squared times 2 cubed, that's 2 to the 2 plus 3. If you're dividing two terms with the same base, 2 cubed divided by 2 squared, that's going to be 2 to the 3 minus 2. When raising an exponent to another exponent, that is the one and only time you can multiply exponents. So in that case, you can do 2 to the 6th, because that's 2 to the 2 times 3, okay? And when dealing with negative exponents, you just have to 1 over it. So 2 to the negative 2 is 1 over 2 to the 2. That's it. That's all there is. Okay, any questions on these 4 exponent rules? There are 4 others that are equally as important, but we will go over those in detail in the full class. Okay. All right. These are a couple other exponent rules. These are 8 tips. This is not, there is one exponent rule left off of this list, which we will teach you in the course. But you will get this as a PDF after this webinar, and you can keep these 8 tips as a gift from us from Ready4. Okay, let's go ahead and test to see how well you know your exponent rules. So go ahead and try this one on your own. I will give you 1.5 minutes. Go ahead and try this one. Go. Okay, I'm getting a lot of correct answers, so I'm going to call it and congratulate all those of you who correctly answered B. That is correct. It should take you about 1 minute. If it takes you more than 1 minute, it's time to study with some of the experts. So let's go through this very quickly. I'll do it in blue marker here. All right, couple rules to remember. If you didn't know that x to the y x to the a times y to the a equals xy to the a, that is rule number 4, and that is a very, very, very important rule. And that's how you get 6 to the 3rd equals 2 to the 3rd times 3 to the 3rd. Okay, so that's what we're going to do on top. We're going to break apart 6 to the 3rd, and we're going to have 2 to the 3rd times 3 to the 3rd times 2 to the 6th times 7 to the 4th. Oh, this looks like rule number 1 right here. So now on top we have 2 to the 9th times 3 to the 3rd times 7 to the 4th. That's what we have on top. Now, how about on bottom, 168 to the 3rd? Well, I don't know what 168 to the 3rd is, but I bet I can break that apart. So 168 becomes 2 times 84, which is 2 times 42, which is 2 times 21, which is 3 times 7. So 168 is 2 to the third times 3 times 7. So we have 2 to the third times 3 to the 1 times 7 to the 1. And we are multiplying all of that by 3. We're raising all of that to the power of 3. So let's divide the top, 2 to the 9th times 3 to the third times 7 to the 4th, by 2 to the 9th times 3 to the third times 7 to the third. And now we have exponent rule number 2. These cancel, those cancel, and this becomes 7 to the 4 minus 3, which is 7 to the 1, which is 7. Okay, all of you who got B, well done. You're in good shape. If you didn't get B, come study with us. Okay. That's it for number 3. Let's keep moving. All right, how about this? Oh, we have one question. Yes, one of you said, on this type of question, are you allowed to use the calculator? Yes, and that is a much faster way to get it, but sometimes they will give you numbers and they will give you variables, like we have on example number 4, where the calculator won't help you. So it's much better to know the exponent rules so that you can do them with variables, you can do them with numbers, you can do them with fractions, whatever the GRE throws at you, you should be able to handle. Okay, so let's go ahead and try example number 4. I'll give you a minute and 40 seconds. Ready, go. Okay, all right, well, thank you, everybody. We were all over the map. We had A, B, D, B, A, C, D. Everybody had different answers, barely a plurality for anything. But let's do this in 30 seconds, okay? Here's how you do it. X is a negative integer. You could do algebra, okay? I will concede that there are some of you who are able to do this in algebra, okay? I can't, and my friends from MIT can't, but if you can, congratulations. For the rest of us, it's much faster to use numbers, okay? So let's use real numbers. X is a negative integer, could be -1, could be -2, could be -3, okay? You want to use algebra because you think it's the correct way. That's the way your math teacher taught you. But this is not a math test. if you're trying to solve it in algebra and you missed this question, bad news. It's bad news. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Okay? Your job is not to get the proper X's and Y solution that will, be acceptable to, an MIT math professor. Your job is to get the correct answer to this multiple choice question in a minute and a half. Okay, so let's do this. Could be -1, could be -2, could be -3. All right, if it's -1, then we have 2 to the -2, which is 1/4. If it's -1, we have 3 to the -1, which is 1/3. All right, 1/3 in this case is bigger than 1/4. If it's -2, then we have 2 to the -3, which is 1/8. If it's -2, we have 3 to the -2, which is 1/9. In this case, 1/8 is bigger than 1/9, and we're done. Because in the first instance, we got quantity B is bigger than quantity A. In the second instance, quantity A is bigger than quantity B. The answer is D. That's it. If you did more work than that and you did not get D, you got to try it our way, because our way will get you the answer, the correct answer 100% of the time, and we'll do it fast. Okay? Any questions on that? So one of you says, how do I send my responses to you? Go to the chat box. There should be a chat box in the lower right corner of your control panel, and you can type your response there. Okay? All right. Any questions on this? Any questions on this? We'll do official strategies. We'll do tricks and traps. We'll do more fundamentals. We'll do speed drills. We will do agility tests. We'll do all sorts of stuff in the full course. But what I want you to know right now is that you have to know your fundamentals. But this is not fundamentally a math test. This is a timed test. This is a test of poise. This is a test of speed. So, so one of you asks if we can go back to the last question. Do you mean example 4 or example 3? Because example 4 is on the screen. I think it is pretty clear. Okay. For those of you who missed example 3, example 3 looked like this. If you know your exponent rules, you can reduce the top to be 2 to the 9th times 3 to the 3rd times 7 to the 4th. The bottom becomes 2 to the 9th times 3 to the 3rd times 7 to the 3rd. And then it reduces to 7. And that's it. Okay? Let's move on. Okay, so roots as exponents. Roots represent fractional exponents. Anytime you encounter a root, you have the option to rewrite it as a fractional exponent. So for instance, if you have the cubed root of a squared, that's a to the 2/3. All this is equal to each other. So let's do something a little easier. If you have 2 squared, that's 2 squared, that's 4. Okay, if you have if you want to say 2 to the 1/3, that means you're cubed rooting 2. Okay, so if you multiply these together, nope, that's not right. If you had 2 squared to the 1/3, that's exactly what this is. Okay, that is 2 to the 2/3. It's also the cubed root of 2 squared. Okay, these are all the same thing. Okay, So that's fractional exponents, and that's what a root is. The square root, if you have 4 to the 1/2, that's the same thing as the square root of 4. There's a little 2 on the ledge here. Okay, we'll talk more about this in the official course. All right, now go ahead and try this. I'll give you a hint. Try it with real numbers. All right, I'll give you 1 minute and 45 seconds. Go. Okay, everybody, go ahead and type in your best guess, and then we will walk through this in a minute, but I will make it seem slow. So this was a little tough. I want to make sure that all of you are with me. This is the first question that we have done that is a legit hard question. This is the first 160 level question. So everything else is a relatively easy question. This is the hard stuff. So if you want to go to one of the best schools, you're going to need to get this kind of question correct every time. Okay, we are here for you. We're here to teach you. We're here to help. But all right, that was a little bit of extra time for those of you to get another answer, and it looks like nope, just more incorrect answers. So one person got it right. Nope, 2 people got it right. Everyone else, watch this is how you do it in a minute. Okay, P lies between 0 and 1, so it could be a half or it could be a fourth. Which of the following expressions has the minimum value? Okay, some of you know that when you raise a fraction to a higher and higher and higher exponent, so if you raised 1/2 to the 100th power, it gets really tiny. Okay, and if you raised 1/2 to the 1, it's still 1/2, and if you raise 1/2 to the 0, it's actually 1. If you raise 1/2 to the negative 1/2, it actually becomes even bigger than 1, becomes 2. So the smaller the exponent, the bigger the eventual number. So which of the following has the minimum value? The one with the biggest exponent, and that's B. And so that's one way to do it extremely quickly. Here's another way to do it. P lies between 0 and 1. Let's call it a fourth. Okay, if you're able to do the arithmetic quickly, either with the calculator that is a handheld calculator that doesn't have very many functions, or with your own handiwork, you'll be able to solve this in about a minute. So 1/4 to the 1/2 is the square root of 1/4, and that's a half. 1/4 squared is 1/16. Okay, you don't have to compare all the numbers. You just have to say which of the following expressions has the minimum value. As you go along, compare one thing to the very next thing and cross out the answer choice that is larger because you're looking for the minimum value. Okay, 1/2 versus 1/16. Okay, 1/2 is larger, so A is out. All right, 1/4 to the 1/4 to the negative 1/2 is 1 over 1/4 to the 1/2, which is 1 over 1/2, which is 2. Sorry, I misspoke earlier. 1/4 to the negative 1/2 is 2. So, so this is 2, which is larger, 2 or 1/16. 2 is larger, so 2 is gone. All right, we're going to skip D for now. E is just whatever P was. We've said P is 1/4, which is larger, 1/4 or 1/16. 1/4 is larger, so 1/4 is gone. And now you have 1/4 to the 3/2. Okay, that's 1/4 cubed and then the square root of that. So that becomes the square root of 1/64, which is 1/8. All right, which one is the minimum value? 1/16 or 1/8? 1/16 is the smallest of the numbers. Okay, if you pick an easy to use number, you can do the arithmetic quickly and then you're done. Or you can recognize the larger pattern, which is when you raise a positive fraction to a larger and larger and larger exponent, the number gets smaller and smaller. So that's why it's B. Okay, what are your questions on this? Why was it hard for many of you? Why was this tough? Stressed out with time, yeah. So, so one of you says the time is tough. That's correct. It is supposed to be tough. That the whole point of the test is they don't give you quite enough time to solve pretty difficult questions. But that is the point of the test. So we will train you. We will teach you how to do these kinds of questions faster and faster and faster. Okay, until the point where this does not seem like a small amount of time. This seems like a perfectly reasonable amount of time. Okay, for those of you who forgot fractions, who forgot some fundamentals, we will give you resources to do those fundamentals better and better and better. I do want to answer one question that came in earlier. How long do I have to wait to take my GRE test if I want to take it again and again? Study hard. Study with a great test prep company and with people who really know the test, and take it once. Okay, I think you can take the GRE test a lot of times. You can take it every month for months on end. Don't do that. It costs money to take the test every time you take it. It's stressful to go in there and take the test. Don't say I'm just going to go in and practice, and then if I don't do well, I'm going to take it again and again and again. Study hard. Do it right. Do it once. That's my advice. Okay? So, all right. Let's finish out the main lesson here. For exponents with the same base, you just want to make the exponents match. So when you have the same base on either side, 7 to the 3x minus 5 equals 7 to the 4x, you can set the exponents equal to each other. This makes total sense. If you had 7 to the 2 equals 7 to the 2x, you know that x is 1, right? Because on either side you have 7 to the 2, 7 to the 2, oh, these are equal to each other, so 2x must equal 2. So x must equal 1. Same thing in this example. 3x minus 5 has to equal 4x. Okay, subtract 3x from both sides, and you get x is equal to negative 5. Okay, that's how you do it. All right, so the GRE expects you to use this technique along with other exponent rules. So basically, if you see 3 to the negative 4x equals 81, gosh, I wish there were a 3 to the something on the right side. Well, maybe there is. 81 is 9 times 9. Oh, check that out. 81 is just 3 to the 4th. So it's 3 to the negative 4x equals 3 to the 4th. You don't have to know that 81 is 3 to the 4th off the top of your head. Maybe now you should know. Maybe now you know. But if you didn't know that 81 is 3 to the 4th, you should want there to be 3 as a base on the right side of that equation. And then you should try to find it by saying, gosh, what are the constituent parts of 81? Well, it's 9 times 9. 2 9s, those are 3 times 2. Oh, it's just, it is. 81 is made up of a bunch of 3s. It's 3 to the 4th. If you don't have things memorized on test day, it's okay as long as you can puzzle it out. Okay? That's my rule about memorizing things in advance. It's okay as long as you can puzzle it out. We're going to skip that second example because I want you to do this one. Okay, so go ahead and try this one. I'll give you a minute and a half. Go. Okay, everybody, let's see how we did here. Still only 4 responses, so go ahead and take your best guess. Those of you who are still on, go ahead and take your best guess. Okay. All right, not bad. Let's check it out. So a lot of you got A, and A is correct. So there are a number of ways to do this. I'll show you what I felt was the easiest way. The first and most important thing is you see 4 to the 12th and you think, gosh, I wish it were just 2s and 3s on each side. So 4 to the 12th is 2 squared to the 12th, which is just 2 to the 24th. And now you have 2 to the 24th times 3 to the 23rd equals 2 to the 1 times 6 to the z. Get the extra 2 out of there. So the two ways to do it, you can divide both sides by 2, or you can pull a 2 out of here, and then you have 2 to the 1 times 2 to the 23 times 3 to the 23 equals 2 to the 1 times 2 to the z times 3 to the z. Okay, if you can get that, it's pretty clear what z is. Z is 23. Look at this equation. No question. If you can get it there, it takes full, complete knowledge of your exponent rules to get to that equation. Once you get to that equation, clear eyes, can't lose. Can't lose. All right. What's the rest of that? Strong heart. Anyway, anyone who knows the Friday Night Lights slogan, you can write that in the chat box. Bonus point. Okay. All right. Let's do one more quantitative comparison. This is one of my favorites. So go ahead and try this. I'll give you 2 minutes and go. Okay, guys, I was waiting for a correct answer. 2 of you got it. Everyone else missed it. So let's walk through this as quickly as we can. So congratulations to the 2 of you who got C. Let's talk about this. So quantity A looks like maybe something that you use a calculator for. Maybe you can't use a calculator, but it looks like a huge number. If you know your exponent rules, this is a much more fun thing to do. So what do both of these elements have in common? 3 to the 22 and 3 to the 21. What do they both have inside of them? Well, they both have 21 3s inside of them. And so what do you multiply 3 to the 21 by to get 3 to the 22? It's 3 to the 1 minus 3 to the 21. You multiply that by 1. Okay, so and all that divided by 3. So quantity A turns out to be 3 to the 21 times 2. Right, 3 to the 1 minus 1, 3 minus 1 is 2, divided by 3. Okay, so this actually is 2 times 3 to the 20th. That's what A is. It's 2 times 3 to the 20th. Because 3 to the 21 divided by 3 to the 1 is 3 to the 21 minus 1, which is 3 to the 20th. So quantity A, excuse me, is 2 times 3 to the 20th, and quantity B is 3 to the 20th plus 3 to the 20th, which is 2 3 to the 20ths. They're the same thing. They're the exact same thing. Apple plus an apple is 2 apples. 3 to the 20th plus 3 to the 20th is 2 times 3 to the 20th, which is the same thing as A. Okay? If you missed that one, that's another hard question. That's another 160 and above question. If you're missing these, you need to study with someone who's gotten 99th percentile and above. I want to caution you against using tutors who have not scored in the top percentile. The most dangerous are people who have scored it between the 90th and the 99th percentile. Those are people who did okay, but don't really have a mastery of the test. Okay, if someone scored below 99th percentile on the GRE and they give you advice, nod politely and just slowly and then very quickly run away. Just run away, because they're going to give you advice that worked for them but doesn't work in all cases. You've got to be able to get this right no matter what twist they put on it. Okay? The GRE is always looking for ways to twist things to make it a little more tricky. Okay? Ready for, we take the test frequently, we teach the test every week, and we will show you every possible twist and turn that the GRE can put on its questions. Okay? A little bit of a recap. We did decimals and digits, we did order of operations, we did exponents and roots. These are the fundamentals. We will teach you the fundamentals, but more importantly, we will teach you how to go quickly, how to take the test with poise, how to stay alert and excited about the test throughout all of the math and all of the verbal. You need some core fundamentals, and then you need guidance from someone who has been there many times before. Ready for will teach you both. We will give you everything you need to get your very, very best score on test A. It's been a pleasure to be with you. I'm going to turn it back over to Ready for now. Thank you guys very, very much.